What we have here is a piece of holly. This was cut in 2019. This comes to us from longtime viewer and friend Valerie. The piece is about 10 inches long, about 5 inches across at this end, about 9 inches across at this end. It's about 2.5 inches tall at the tallest spot, about an inch over on this side. I've marked the spot here that I'm going to use for a center, right here, which you can see is off center. I'm trying to take advantage of the height so that I can get the deepest bowl possible. It'll of course taper off as it gets down to this side, the narrower side. What I'm going to do is take this over to my drill press. I'm going to drill a large flat bottom hole right here. In the middle of that, I'm going to drill a hole for my woodworm screw. We'll get it over here to the lathe and get it mounted up. We are going to have a gap in the side of our bowl because we have an existing gap here. Not much I can do about that. That's just the way it is. That's okay. That's not what I'm going to be looking at. That's not what I'm after with a piece like this. I'm after cleaning up that bark, polishing it up with some kind of finish, making it look nice as a contrast to the light colored wood of the holly. I might turn away some of the outside. If I decide to do that, I'll show you what we'll end up with. Well, that's just the way it goes. Look at this. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. I had a furnace repair guy here. I'm not going to get much done today, but we're going to get something done. I'm going to be using a 5/8 inch bowl gouge. We're going to be turning at 430 RPM, mask and face shield on. I want to point something out. I watch wood turning videos just like you do, and I see people standing over here. I know you can't see me, but over here in line with the piece, and they're doing pull cuts, and I don't know why. It just bothers me. You know, everyone is responsible for their own safety. I don't care for it when I'm told I'm doing something unsafe, like wearing a watch or a ring. Well, I guess I don't wear a ring anymore. So, you know, do what you gotta do, but this is dangerous over here. This is just dangerous. Don't stand over here. Stand back here. Stand out of the line of fire. I'm in no danger here at all, as long as I don't do something stupid, and I don't plan on it. I don't even know what it would be. Can't understand it. Please don't do that. It just makes me nervous. We'll mark out for the recess. Maybe tenon, but I don't think so. Recess, I'm pretty sure. Now I like to have my pieces set on a little raised area. I don't know what to call it, a base around here. So I'm going to create that base. And we'll make the recess, and to do that I'm going to take away the tailstock. Now you'll see I've left the center portion raised up. I used to do that all the time, and I really like it. It just adds some visual interest to the piece. And then for whatever reason I stopped doing it, partly because I hardly ever do recesses at all. But I really like it, and I was reminded of it by Gary over at the Papa in 1947. You all know Gary, and he did one recently, and that reminded me, oh yeah, I like that. So there it is. Now I'm going to use my recess tool, or my dovetail tool, to put a dovetail on the sides of this recess. It's just shaped like a dovetail. Okay, that's good. Now I want to be sure that this base that I made sets above the outside, and you can see that it does. And I want to be sure this is not flat. I want it slightly upraised on the outside edges, and that's the way it is. So we're good. Now I just need to do some cleaning cuts on this. It's really hard to do shear scraping when you have air and odd shapes, but that's better than it was. Now, am I going to turn any on the outside? I'd really rather not. I could round this all off. I don't think I want to get down this far. That's a long ways. What do you think? I can't hear you. Yeah, oh golly. I just hate to cut that away. So I'm not going to. Time for sanding. I'm going to be starting sanding with my Sandoflex. I'm going to sand the bark that I can reach and that I think won't be turned away. I'll sand this large gap in here, and I'll sand these sharp edges around here with the Sandoflex. That's 180 grit, and that's as fine as I'll go. When I'm done with that, I'll switch to my 2-inch disc, starting at 80 grit, and sand the bottom. And I guess, oh, and these ends, this end here and this end here. And I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. Then I'll be back here where you won't really be able to see it. But I'll be doing a lot more of that. Then with the lathe spinning in reverse at about 380. Now I'm using the top part of the disc, and it's spinning away from the wood. If it was spinning the other way, you can see what would happen as it comes around. It would dig in. That's no good. So it's spinning away from the wood on the top edge, which is all I'm using. Then I'll sand here. And on the other flat spot over there. I'll get that finished up through 400 grit, and I'll bring you back here in a little bit, and we'll put some, well actually tomorrow. It's almost dinner time. Tomorrow we'll put some sanding sealer, I think, on there, most likely, and then shellac for a final finish. See you tomorrow. Well, the sanding went pretty dang well, and it's really, really, really smooth. I'm really happy about that. And I'm applying Zinzer Sealcoat as a sanding sealer. Zinzer Sealcoat. Comes ready to use out of the can. I don't do anything to it at all. That's just real pretty wood. I'm hoping for a little something extra out of this piece. We'll know at the end of the video if it's going to work or not. I'm not going to go over the edge except on these two flat spots right there, and the other one I already got, and in this crotch I'm going to do in there because I can get at it a lot easier now than I will be able to later. Now I've just got some sanding sealer in this little can, and I've got a little acid brush, and I'm just going to brush it into this bark, and I'm sure you can't see all of it here. So I will put 2 coats of this sanding sealer on, although it seems to really only need 1. Like I said, it's very, very smooth. But I'll put 2 on just for extra protection. And then 2 coats of shellac, and then I'll bring you back when it's time to start working on the top side. So I'll see you in a while. I turn the piece around and have the chuck expanded into the recess. Now it's your job to make sure that I don't go through the bottom of this. This is not all that thick, so don't let it happen. You yell out if you think I'm getting too dang close. But I do have to take this down quite a little bit. And my plan is to kind of open the bowl out this way some at the top, just at the top, and then narrow it down. Don't forget we have this big built-in gap over here, so we're most likely going to go through the side. I'd like to avoid it, but I kind of doubt it. I'm not sure how thick that is there. It's only about 1/4 inch thick. We're going to be using a 5/8 inch bowl gouge. It's going to be turning at 480 RPM. Mask and face shield on. Now all that bouncing around you're seeing, that's because we only have one high spot here and then so much low spot. So it's only hitting up in this corner right here mostly, a little bit over here. Don't let that bother you. When you're turning something odd like this, don't let it bother you. You'll get there. Just take your time. Just let it bounce you around. Just slowly progress forward. You're not going to do this. You're not going to just go right in there. It's not going to happen. Slow. Take it easy. You'll get there. Well, I bumped the speed control. Got to start over a little. There we go. Stop and look often. Now see, we came through right there. That's actually not bad. That doesn't bother me that much. Well, it doesn't bother me at all. That crack bothers me a little bit. But it seems to come to a dead stop there, so we're probably okay. Yeah, we're doing good. Looking good. I'm going to go sharpen up. Okay, we got rid of our mounting hole. And we know that the mounting hole did not come down through the recess. Good thing I left that center section thick, huh? Well, we're about 1/4 inch, but that's probably about as deep as we want to go other than scraping and sanding. So why don't I try some scraping over here? Always difficult on a piece like this. I'm going to try shear scraping. Well, you know, I should probably just use my scraper. Well, I'll try it. That's a weird angle. The reason I like the shear scraper is you can usually get a smoother cut than you can with a scraper, but because of the shape of this, I just can't get there from here. I actually kind of like that hole now. It's kind of a highlight, isn't it? And it's plenty thick enough right here, so we're good. Okay, I'm going to sharpen up my negative rake scraper and we'll scrape. I've shown this plenty of times, but it's been a while since I've shown it. You know, you can sharpen on your grinder. What I like to do is take a pass across the top. This is 36 degrees. And this is 36 degrees down here. I like to take a pass across the top and then a pass across the bottom on the grinder. And then what that does is it raises up a burr on this edge right here. And that's what you want, is that burr. You don't always want to sharpen because you're losing steel. A way to raise that burr without losing steel is to use a round screwdriver shank. Works fine. They make tools for this that are hardened. This seems to be hard enough. It works for me. And you just find that bevel so that you're touching the heel of the bevel and the toe of the bevel. You just find that. Apply a little pressure with your thumb. Get up off of the heel and onto the toe and just drag it across there. And it's going to take another pass. It takes 2 or 3 passes and you can get a nice burr raised up, and you don't have to go to the grinder, you don't have to waste steel. This is not removing any metal. This is just bending that edge up, creating the burr. Yeah. Okay. That's all you gotta do. Piece of cake, right? Get my mask and face shield back on and we'll scrape. It's still not going to be easy because there's so much air instead of wood, but and you have to go really lightly. If you try and hold against it too hard, all it's going to do is bounce back. See? Bounce back, bounce, bounce, bounce. That's no good. You got to apply pressure down onto the tool rest and then light pressure against the wood. Very light. I'm sure that's better, but I'm also sure it's not good. No, it's better than I thought it'd be. But it's just going to take some sanding. I see some grooves over here and right here. I'll just sand it while it's not spinning to get rid of those grooves. I'll show you. Alright, cool, time for sanding. I hope you're close enough, I think you are, to see these grooves here that I'm talking about. You don't see them anywhere else, but they're on this high spot, and then a little tiny bit over here, a little tiny bit right there, and right here. Oh well, now I see a little tiny bit right here too on this low spot. Anyway, so the way I get rid of those, because everything else is pretty good, I just sand it in place like this, and I'll use an 80 grit 2-inch disc for that. and I'll just sand it with the lathe not spinning until those are all gone. And I'll come over here and I'll get rid of these as well, same way. And then I will start sanding it with the lathe spinning. And it'll just be clean as a whistle by the time we're done. I'll show you that as soon as I get my mask on. And there's nothing to be ashamed of if you got some grooves like that. It's just the nature of turning this type of piece. You know, if it was all one level, you wouldn't have those grooves. It's just the way it is. And just like that, they're gone. Well, almost. I'll do a little bit more of that, and I'll do the other one over here. And then when I'm done with that, with the lathe spinning forward at about 360, you have to be careful. You can tell it's hitting when this high spot comes around here. Maybe this one. You have to be careful, but you'll get there. Just takes time and patience. So I'll do that up through 400 grit. I'll bring you back here in a bit and we'll put some sanding sealer on there. See you in a bit. I had a good idea what this might look like when I got done turning it, and it does, and I'm tickled about it. I think this is another one of my new favorite pieces. Not my favorite piece, but I like it quite a little bit. I just hope that my little surprise second use comes in handy. I hope it actually works. I'm applying sanding sealer just like I did on the bottom. I think this is going to look really good. Do you see anything in this one? I looked. I don't see any faces or critters or creatures or anything. Well, I do see one thing, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You can decide. I don't want to hear about it. It's a family show. So I'll do the same thing with this that I did on the bottom. 2 coats of sanding sealer and then 2 coats of shellac. And I'll bring you back here in a bit and we will take a look at it and see if my little surprise works. See you in a bit. Be sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share the video, that'd be totally cool. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Well, here it is. One Hollywood bowl. Hollywood bowl? One Holly bowl in the book. I just love it. I hope you do. I hope you do too. I love that gap in there. What do you think? Do you like it? You don't like it? Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? Like I said, I looked for faces and animals and I didn't see anything. That's like a perfect head shape right there. But I don't see a face in the head. But maybe you see something, let me know. It's got 2 square ends. One there, one there. And this is the surprise part. You can stand it up. You don't have to use it as a bowl. When you're not using it as a bowl, you can use it as a display piece. And I didn't sign it because I didn't want to ruin the back part, because to me that looks even better than the front part. I kind of like that, the pattern that the base and the recess make in it. And it goes along well with this gap in here. But it will stand up. It's darn near flawless. I wish you could feel it. I wish this was feel-o-vision. It's just so smooth. It's just amazing. Oh, and I love this. I love this part right here with the cracks in it. A little bit of color in there. How would you use it? Would you use it? You'd throw it out. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. Thank you, Valerie, for providing this wood for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about 1 a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I love reading them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.